Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome into Fantasy Filmball, the show where we turn movies into sports and sports into something we don't talk about. My name is Matt.
And my name is Dyl, and today we have some BAFTA predictions. So, I'm really excited to hop into these because the BAFTAs are something we build up to all season long. Maybe not so much as the Oscars, but these are really important.
Outside of the Critics' Choice and the Golden Globes, the BAFTAs are probably the biggest award precursor that we have for the Oscars, if not the absolute biggest. So this might be a preview of almost exactly what we get on Oscar night. They're never perfect, but they're often very, very, very close. So we're going to be giving our final predictions right here. And without further ado, let's just jump right into the big boy, the big kahuna.
Let's do it.
Picture. So I'm going to read every category ranked in order of their rankings on Gold Derby, okay?
Sounds great.
In first place here, we've got the Banshees of Inisherin, then Everything Everywhere All at Once, All Quiet on the Western Front, Tar, and Elvis. Before I ask you your pick for this category, I just want to say that the pattern that we see in Best Picture here is that whatever wins here probably won't win Best Picture at the Oscars. At least it hasn't since 2014, bar 1 year where Nomadland won both. Otherwise, whatever wins the BAFTA does not win the Oscar. So with that knowledge, what are you picking, Dylan?
I am going with Banshees. I don't have it winning the Oscar. I don't have it as like 1A or 1B, like the two different scenarios. I just think this is a movie that, for the Oscars at least, is really just a screenplay and maybe an acting or bust. Well, here, it can win a good amount of stuff, including Best Picture.
I agree. I've got Banshees number one. It's number one on Gold Derby for a good reason. It is the British film. And it's a very criticky film. It's very intellectual. If we look at their past year wins, Power of the Dog, Nomadland, 1917, Roma, even Three Billboards. They like McDonough, clearly. But if you look at all of those, that feels more like Banshees than Everything Ever All at Once. Are there any others that we see as possible winners here? What would be our runner-up?
I'm surprised at how the rankings are here, because I know they showered All Quiet with love, but All Quiet to me doesn't seem like a movie where it's number one, because like you mentioned, BAFTA, it's not a preferential ballot. It just matters what's number one, and All Quiet to me is a movie that is not number one. So to me, Tar would be in third place. It would probably be Tar, and then you could take your pick All Quiet or Elvis for 4 or 5. So to me, it's Banshees, like 60%, Everything Everywhere, the majority of the rest of that, and then Tar would be third, and the other two I don't really think has a shot.
I actually kind of think Tar would be higher up than Everything Ever All at Once here. Just, again, it's the type of movie that they seem to really go for. If you think about how the single choice voting can go, a movie could win with 21% of the vote. Right? Mm-hmm. If all the other movies are like equally loved, you don't need a super majority. Like at the Oscars, you need 50% to win. 50% plus one vote to win. When I think of that, I do think All Quiet has a chance. I do think Tar has a chance. Honestly, the only film I don't see as a winner here is Elvis. But Tar feels like something that BAFTA might go for. It feels like Power of the Dog. It feels like Roma. It has that kind of cold, criticky feeling to it. Banshees more so, but I think Tar has a chance here. But let's move on to Best Director. And a note here, they almost always go with the front runner. Usually the Critics' Choice winner, usually the Oscar winner. Whatever is sweeping the season, it happens here. So the rankings in order on Gold Derby are Daniels for Everything Ever All at Once, Martin McDonough for The Banshees of Inisherin, Edward Berger for All Quiet on the Western Front, Todd Field for Tar, Park Chan-wook for Decision to Leave, and Gina Prince Bythewood for The Woman King. I'm going to go with the sweeper of the season. Not the sweeper because Spielberg won the Golden Globe, but he's not here, so I have to go with Daniels.
Yeah, I'm also of Daniels. However, just like I mentioned in Picture, Tar seems a little low. I feel like Todd Field would be the spoiler here. DGA obviously happens by the time that you will all hear this episode. So we may know if Todd Field's a lot stronger than where he seems at the moment, because if he upsets a DGA or if Daniels loses DGA, that means, hey, the BAFTA is a little bit more open than we thought, at least when we're recording this right now.
Absolutely, but I think it really does come down to Daniels versus Field here. That's just how it feels to me. If Todd Field wins here, I don't think it's over for the Daniels at the Oscars. It just means that maybe the BAFTAs didn't love Everything Ever All at Once as much as some of the other awards bodies did. So let's go to the acting categories. And in all of these categories, a pattern that I've noticed is that every single year they either go 4 for 4 with the Oscars or 3 for 4. The last time they did not do that was, I believe, in 2013, where they went 1 for 4.
Yikes.
So what we're looking at here is either a full-on sweep of the right choices or 3 of 4 of the right choices. So let's start with Best Actress. Here are the nominees. Cate Blanchett in Tar, Michelle Yeoh in Everything Ever All at Once, Danielle Deadwyler in Till, Emma Thompson in Good Luck to You, Leo Grand, Ana de Armas in Blonde, and Viola Davis in The Woman King. So this is a 2-horse race. I think we can admit that, especially if they're going to kind of mirror the Oscars. It's Blanchett versus Yeoh. And ultimately, for me, it comes down to who do I think is going to win the Oscar, and that's Cate Blanchett.
Even though I was on the Yeoh train for a while, her losing CCA was a really death blow to me because that critics' body just loved that movie, and they still could not pick Yeoh over Blanchett. So from that point on, I've been all for Cate Blanchett in my predictions to win, and I don't think that subs at BAFTA because we've been saying all season long, even if Yeoh was the front runner, they're going with Blanchett here.
Yeah, but if they go Yeoh here, she's winning the Oscar.
Yes, I would agree. If Yeoh does win here, I would say like 98% sure wins the Oscar because there is that 3 for 4. There is that 3 for 4 chance that we've seen in the years past. However, I think that upset comes in the other actress category.
Typically, the actress category does not diverge from the Oscars. You know, here they do a very, very good job, unless the winner is not nominated. Because last year, Jessica Chastain was literally not nominated here.
You know who's not here, though, right? You know who's not here? Andrea Riseborough.
Yeah, that's the one right there.
There's our winner, our Oscar winner.
So in the Best Actor category, we have Colin Farrell in The Banshees of Inisherin, Austin Butler in Elvis, Brendan Fraser in The Whale, Bill Nighy in Living, Paul Mescal in After Sun, and Daryl McCormack in Good Luck to You, Leo Grand.
I mean, if you've listened to the show, I would say at least once before, you already know who I'm going with, and that is Austin Butler for Elvis. Yes, I know he has not won anything besides the Golden Globe drama. However, we have to keep in mind all those critics' bodies, they gave him the Rising Star, the Breakout Actor Award. I think that's a stat a lot of people are overlooking, like, oh, he hasn't won any lead acting prizes, because they're just giving him the award in another category so they can spread the love a little bit and give Fraser some love, Farrell some love, whoever. Because, like, in years past, like, the comparisons for Butler, like, Eddie Redmayne couldn't have fit in those categories for Theory of Everything. Rami Malek couldn't have fit. BAFTA, this is his time to shine. However, I think even if he loses here, he's not out of the race yet. SAG is the tell. Honestly, I think the winner of SAG is probably going to win the Oscar. Even if Farrell wins here, I still think whoever the Butler or Fraser who wins at SAG is probably taking the Oscar.
I'm going to pick Colin Farrell here. And I'm riding with Colin Farrell because I know that they're going to really love Banshees. I know that they're really going to want to appreciate him because Colin Farrell has been pretty underappreciated for so long. BAFTA is pretty much home turf for Colin Farrell right here. I don't believe Butler can do it because I don't feel like it's that type of performance, but that type of thinking is wrong. It's wrong. Last year, they gave it to Will Smith. Like you said, they gave it to Rami Malek. They gave it to Eddie Redmayne. Some of these winners in the past that have been not like BAFTA-y picks have still won here. So why can't Austin Butler, right? That's why I have as my spoiler. I think he could happen, and I think if he does happen here, then he's going all the way to the Oscars. But for now, I'm going to ride with Colin Farrell because that just feels more correct to me. I just think that they're going to give someone from Banshees an acting award, if not 2 people. But let's get into Best Supporting Actress, where the nominees are Carrie Condon for The Banshees of Inisherin, Angela Bassett for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Dolly DeLeon for Triangle of Sadness, Hong Chow for The Whale, and Carey Mulligan for She Said. I feel like a lot of people have been writing off Angela Bassett in Black Panther Wakanda Forever at the BAFTAs because they didn't nominate Black Panther anywhere else in either 2018 or this year. BAFTA went completely no way to Black Panther. That shows they probably don't love the film because in every category, even in the crafts, it's not nominated. But Angela Bassett's still here. I know you could say that she's a jury save, but I don't buy it. I don't buy that she's a jury save.
I would say that.
I don't think she's a jury save. I think that the jury would not have saved her. So I think that she's just strong enough with the actors branch to make it here. And you know what? I'm going to go with her. I know that Carrie Condon, it's her home turf, like I just said with Colin Farrell. But I am just going to predict the BAFTAs going for 4 with the Oscars. And I don't think Carrie Condon has a shot at winning the Oscar. So I'm just going to go Angela Bassett here. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
See, I agree that Bassett's going to win the Oscar. But as we mentioned before, BAFTA sometimes goes 3 for 4. And this is the category where I have them missing the eventual Oscar winner. I have Condon winning for some of the reasons that you mentioned for Farrell. Home turf. They love Banshees. I do believe Bassett was probably a save. Maybe not. She could have been a consensus pick.
So let's move to Best Supporting Actor, where the nominees are Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Brendan Gleeson for The Banshees of Inisherin, Barry Keoghan for The Banshees of Inisherin, Albrecht Schuck for All Quiet on the Western Front, Michael Ward for Empire of Light, and Eddie Redmayne for The Good Nurse. It's Quan.
Yeah, easy, done with.
I've seen people say it could be Gleeson, though, and that is nonsense. That's nonsense. If Gleeson wins here, that's like bad news for Quan. And
well, the issue with Gleeson winning is that there's not a consensus with him being the best performance in that movie. I know most people do think that, but there's still a wide portion that says, hey, Barry's better. I'm one of them. So I just don't see the angle for him to win when Quan's just so far in front. He's winning everything. And like if it was just Gleeson in this category or just Keoghan in this category, I could see, yeah, maybe. But the fact that they're both here, there's no way they're all going to get just one vote unless they outright say, hey, don't vote for me, vote for my co-star, or something along those lines.
Let's move on to the screenplay categories. Now, something to note here is these are typically either going to line up exactly with the Oscar winners, or they are Best Picture nominated at the Oscars. You'd have to go all the way back to 2011 to find a screenplay winner at the BAFTAs that did not get a Best Picture nomination at the Oscars. So let's start with original screenplay, where the nominees are The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, Triangle of Sadness, and The Fabelmans. I think we're both going Banshees here, right? It's home turf for Banshees. We think that they're going to give it Best Picture here, so it just makes sense to win here, especially because it's not winning director. But, what if Everything Ever All at Once wins?
If it wins the Oscar. Plain and simple, Banshees is done. However, like you just mentioned, we had Banshees winning Best Picture. We have it winning some other awards. It makes sense for them to go with it in this category because Everything Everywhere is going to win elsewhere, like we mentioned, possibly for director, but at least at the minimum, Quan. So Banshees, to me, feels like if it loses the BAFTA, it's dead at the Oscars.
Let's move on to Adapted Screenplay, where the nominees, in Gold Derby order, are Living, All Quiet on the Western Front, The Whale, She Said, and The Quiet Girl. I just have a question mark being, I get that Living is nominated at the Oscars for screenplay, but why is it number one here over All Quiet on the Western Front, which is nominated in Best Picture at the BAFTAs, is beloved by the BAFTAs, has won screenplay prizes, more screenplay prizes than Living? Why is All Quiet not first?
My guess would be Living's screenwriter is campaigning his ass off. He's everywhere talking, but still, like you just mentioned, no winner in screenplay for a long time has not either won the Oscar, which Living's not going to do, or been in Best Picture, which Living isn't. You know which movie could win the Oscar? You know what movie is in Best Picture? All Quiet on the Western Front. And it's in Best Picture here at BAFTA, and it got nominated on the list in every category it could have been, and this is where I think it's going to get at least one of its wins. I think I have it for 3, maybe 4, and it's going to start right here.
Yep, All Quiet on the Western Front is my pick as well. It just makes sense. People say it's not a very writer-y movie. I don't know what that's even supposed to mean in regards to this. Let's move on to Best Cinematography. And something that I noticed while going through previous winners here is they seemingly always go with the perceived frontrunner. So the nominees here are All Quiet on the Western Front, Top Gun Maverick, Elvis, Empire of Light, and The Batman. I'm going All Quiet on the Western Front again. It is their most beloved movie in this category, and I would say that despite the fact that it doesn't have the most critic wins, I think that this is the perceived frontrunner at the Oscars.
It may be the perceived frontrunner at the Oscars, but Top Gun Mavericks won so much, and I feel like that would continue here. However, clearly BAFTA did not love this movie the most. That's where I'm a little scared, because BAFTA could have easily given this Best Picture, could have gotten it for Director, could have gotten it in some other places where it missed, and it missed those. So, I don't know. The fact that they nominated, though, still makes me feel safe to pick it.
Honestly, I probably would go with Top Gun Maverick here if it was nominated at the Oscars.
I guess Nomadland was still nominated at the Oscars. It just didn't win. So, I don't know. I just feel like Maverick fits more of that frontrunner status, but it's not at the Oscars. So maybe they're just like, oh, the Oscars didn't nominate it. Why even vote for it?
Let's move on to Best Costume Design. So the nominees here, in order, are Elvis, Babylon, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, All Quiet on the Western Front, and Amsterdam. And I think we both have our perceived winner at the Oscars being Elvis. And for me, my runner-up, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, isn't here. So that makes me feel even more confident about Elvis taking this prize.
I am confident in Elvis. However, if we turn back the dials real quick and go all the way back to 2002, we see a similar matchup. Catherine Martin versus Jenny Beavan. Moulin Rouge, Gosford Park. You know what won? Jenny Beavan did. Is it going to happen again for Mrs. Harris? Probably not, but wouldn't it be unprecedented? They've gone head-to-head with one film being so much bigger than the other. So, I don't know. I'm still going Elvis, but that would be my number 2. I know a lot of people have Babylon in the 2 slot, and to me, Mrs. Harris would be the 2 here, and I would even argue it's probably the 2 at the Oscar as well.
We're going to move to Best Editing, where it's not always matching up with the Oscar winner. And here's a fun fact. This has not been lined up with a BAFTA Best Picture nominee since Argo. So every year, the winner in this category is not nominated in Best Picture for 10 years now. So the nominees here are Everything Everywhere All at Once, Top Gun Maverick, All Quiet on the Western Front, Elvis, and The Banshees of Inisherin. And right off the bat, I'm going to say with that stat of no editing winner being nominated in picture since Argo, we've got 4 out of these 5 nominees which are also in picture, which leaves one movie that would carry on that stat, and it's Top Gun Maverick.
And I would say even more important than that stat, BAFTA loves themselves some car movies. And in this case, a plane movie, because we have last year, No Time to Die, 2019, Ford v Ferrari, 2017, Baby Driver, 2015, Mad Max Fury Road, 2013, Rush, and the list can go on and on and on. What movie
2011,
in this category,
Senna, a documentary.
And what movie fits that category of plane, automobile type movie? Maverick does. Yeah, All Quiet has some stuff in there with like the tanks, but Maverick just fits that so much. It's just like BAFTA editing like bait right there. And like I get why Everything Everywhere is number 1, but also I don't. Like I get why people would say that would win, but I don't know why that would be number 1. Like to me that would be number 4 for the BAFTA at least.
I don't think Everything Everywhere can take it. That said, if we do break the stat, it's All Quiet. On to the next category, which is Best Makeup. And something I noticed here with all the winners is that they don't seemingly care as much about prosthetics. They really like flashiness, and they like a lot of makeup. Like, for example, Vice lost in 2018 to The Favorite. The Favorite had a lot of hair and makeup. Vice had like one incredible prosthetic, which sounds really familiar to me because The Whale has one incredible prosthetic, and there's another movie that just has a lot of hair and makeup. But the nominees here are The Whale, Elvis, The Batman, All Quiet on the Western Front, and Matilda. And I think Elvis has to take this. I mean, I don't really get why The Whale is in first place still. It hasn't been winning makeup prizes. It did win one award at the Makeup and Hair Guild, but Elvis won 2. So I gotta go for it here. It feels more like a winner.
I haven't really got why The Whale's ever been the front runner for makeup throughout the whole season, because it's one singular performance, but Elvis has that as well.
With Tammy Faye, they did a ton of makeup over time. You saw the transformation over time. They did the same with Andrew Garfield. We see that in Elvis. Meanwhile, last year, House of Gucci, the biggest competitor for makeup, had Jared Leto with one look through the movie.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the pattern that we see over and over, is if there's a movie that has one really impressive makeup look, it's going to get beat by something that has more versatility, which Elvis has. Let's move on to Best Production Design, where the nominees are Elvis, Babylon, All Quiet on the Western Front, The Batman, and Pinocchio. I am just going to go with my gut and go with what I think will win the Oscar, which is Babylon.
Babylon makes the most sense, but I go back to 2019. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, in the category, it lost. What it lose to? The movie with trenches, 1917. What do we have this year? Hollywood movie, Babylon. What's it going to lose to? The movie with trenches, All Quiet on the Western Front.
But are they going to do something so similar so soon? That's because I was thinking All Quiet for a little bit too, but then I was like, I feel like Elvis might even be more likely than that.
But that's
it's not like they don't go for Hollywood movies. They gave it to Mank, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Here's the thing with Mank, though. Here was Mank's competition. The Dig, The Father, Rebecca. 3 movies. They have good production design. They're not the production design that they kind of sway away from, because if they don't do the Hollywood movie, they do big grand production design like Dune, like The Shape of Water, like Fantastic Beasts, Mad Max, Great Gatsby. They don't go with the more toned down scenes, places, whatever. And the other nominee in that category was News of the World, which you could say maybe is similar to All Quiet on the Western Front. There's some war stuff there, but it's not as in-depth. And if they love All Quiet that much for you to give it some awards in other categories, I feel like this is a very strong category for it.
You're kind of swaying me away from Babylon, because the thing about Babylon is so much of it takes place in the desert. There's a lot of dust. There's a lot of empty space. So I'm going to go with something grand. I'm not going to go with All Quiet. I'm going to switch to Elvis right now.
Makes sense. Fair. Great Gatsby did win, so it's not unprecedented.
It's not, and 1917 did win, so All Quiet's not unprecedented either. I'll just stick with Elvis here. So let's look at the best score lineup, which almost always goes to the Oscar winner unless the Oscar winner is not nominated. So the nominees here are Babylon, The Banshees of Inisherin, All Quiet on the Western Front, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and Everything Everywhere All at Once. We know what we kind of think that the Oscar winner is, which is Babylon, but this leaves it open for the Fabelmans to steal it at the Oscars.
I still think those are the two the Oscars down to, just because if the Fabelmans is actually winning picture, it needs something else besides Spielberg, and this is that other thing. Do I think Fabelmans is winning picture? No. But if it is, this is its other award. And even if Spielberg's winning director, this is still its other award to win. And Babylon's a very divisive movie. I know most people who like it love this score, and most people who don't like it still love this score. So it makes sense for them to go with this. However, if they want to sway from Babylon at the Oscars, Fabelmans is that runner-up, and as we see here, it's not here, so clearly Babylon is the one to pick.
And if they don't go with Babylon, I'd say they probably go with All Quiet, but I think that they're going for Babylon. Let's move on to the sound category, which does not overlap with editing, unlike the Oscars. The nominees here are All Quiet on the Western Front, Top Gun Maverick, Elvis, Avatar: The Way of Water, and Tar. And in this category, they love war movies. 1917. They went with Dunkirk, and that's why I'm going with All Quiet on the Western Front.
They do love their war movies, but you know what else they love? They love their musicals, because I'm just going to read you from 2000 on. Almost Famous, Moulin Rouge, Chicago, Ray, Walk the Line, Les Mis, Whiplash, and Bohemian Rhapsody, and Sound of Metal. That brings me to 2 music movies that are in this category. We have Elvis, which makes sense, but also there's a movie when it usually gets nominated in sound, it usually wins the award that we've seen in this award season so far, and that is Tar. I just think its inclusion here is so off the rails that it's just sign for something big is going to happen. I know that's 5th place on Gold Derby. I know no one is picking that, but that's why I'm picking it. This is my one BAFTA wild card. They do something crazy off the rails type pick. Elvis probably makes more sense for what I'm trying to describe, but Tar just, it's that weird movie that still wins score, even though there's not a score because they're awarding the sound, and it's wins sound when it does actually show up because people are like, oh, that's not the score, that's the sound. And I feel like the fact that the BAFTAs put it in here is sign enough that this is not 5th at least, it's at least number 3, if not 2. And at that point, maybe it's 1.
I'm honestly surprised you're not going with Elvis here. I am really surprised. That seems like a you pick. So let's move on to Best Visual Effects, where the nominees are Avatar: The Way of Water, The Batman, Top Gun: Maverick, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and All Quiet on the Western Front. And this one's really hard, right?
Yeah, I don't know what to do here.
Maybe All Quiet. They like that movie.
Yeah, they got war movies. You got low budget, visual effects. You got practical effects. You got a superhero movie, and then you have this little small movie by this guy named James Cameron. What does he know about visuals?
I truly have no idea what could win.
As he sips from the Way of Water cup.
Delicious.
Yeah, our winner's Avatar.
Avatar
don't even
wins.
Think about it.
Let's move on to Best Casting, where the nominees are Everything Ever All at Once, Triangle of Sadness, All Quiet on the Western Front, Elvis, and After Sun. And here's the thing. This award has only been around since 2019, so there are not a lot of patterns we can observe. So we kind of just have to fucking guess on this one.
I think I know, because Joker is casting a specific role. They had to find an actor to play the Joker. Rocks, they had to find a lot of kids to fit these various ensemble type role. West Side Story, they had to find a lot of unknowns to fit this various ensemble type role. And what movie fits that the most in this category? Triangle of Sadness. A lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds to fill an ensemble type movie that is carried by that ensemble. Rocks fits this, West Side Story fits this, Triangle of Sadness fits this, and that will be the ongoing continuation for this category. Finding the best ensemble of people who may not be well known, but are sort of known, to give them a very big starring role. Because, you can make the Joker comparison to Elvis. Everything Ever All at Once has the SAG, but when have they ever gone with the SAG winner? All Quiet maybe has the same angle as Triangle, and then After Sun would fit sort of Rocks, but not to the big degree that Triangle and All Quiet fit it.
There really isn't enough time to observe patterns, and I don't think we can make definitive statements like, oh, they went with Joker because of this, and they went with Rocks because of that. I don't think we can make those assumptions at this point. I think that they're just going with, what feels right for them in terms of casting. I don't know, man. I don't see it being Triangle. I think all the arguments you made for Triangle could be made, West Side Story would be Everything Ever All at Once. Rocks would be After Sun, and Joker would be Elvis. I don't think that you can make a one-for-one comparison to help us jump to the winner. So Triangle could win, but I don't think it's because it's similar to any of the previous winners. It would win based on them just really liking the casting of the movie. But that's why I think I'm going to go with Elvis, because I think that... Here's an interesting thing, actually. Why would I pick Elvis here if I don't have Austin Butler winning Best Actor?
Yep.
And why would you not pick Elvis here if you do have Austin Butler winning actor? Because that means it's the best casting of the year.
My case is Triangle is winning an award, and this is one award to win, because Triangle is dominated with international bodies throughout the season, and it's won at least something everywhere, and I don't know why that would stop with BAFTA.
I don't know if it has really. It dominated at the European Film Awards, but it has 3 nominations here.
For me, Triangle fits, I know you can't say we have a pattern with 3 years, but to me, if you had to find a pattern, Triangle and All Quiet fit that pattern the most.
I don't know. I don't
crazy
think that BAFTA loves
crazy
Triangle
stuff.
of Sadness as much as you're expecting. But that said, I might be wrong. I'm torn though. If I put Elvis here, I should give it to Austin Butler for actor. And Elvis feels right here, but so does Everything Ever All at Once. Fuck it, I'm just going to keep things as is. I'm going to give it to Elvis here, and I'm going to not give it to Austin Butler. But that was hard for me. That was really hard.
Here's the thing, though. The 3 years this awards has happened, the SAG winner hasn't even been nominated. So, I guess the fact that the SAG winner is nominated could be means to break the streak if you wanted to switch to Everything Ever All at Once. But at the same time, Women Talking
wins.
Or Banshees could still win SAG, and they didn't show up here.
I also don't think we can definitively say that the SAG Ensemble winner never wins here, because we haven't had enough of a period of time to really observe that. I think you need 10 years to see a pattern.
Well, I didn't mean it wins here. The SAG Ensemble winner's never been nominated.
No,
here,
yeah.
my point.
That's another thing too, but I think I saw in some other people's videos talking about how if we think Everything Ever All at Once wins SAG, then we can't predict it here because it hasn't happened before. Like, there's 3 years of this. There's no pattern, right? Like, it could happen this year and break the 3-year pattern, but yeah. Let's move to Best Animated Feature, where the nominees are Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and Turning Red. Because for some reason, they only do 4.
Only one of these movies showed up in another category, and that's my pick to win. That's Pinocchio.
It's my pick too, but that said, like I keep saying, if Puss in Boots wins here, it's sweeping the season. If Puss in Boots wins in blank place, then just expect that to continue. But I think for now, we can say it's Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Puss in Boots wouldn't win here. It would win at PGA.
It could win both, though.
I guess. I just don't see the angle for Puss in Boots to win here because Pinocchio is not technically a British film, but it's got the British feel. It premiered in London. It's got a lot of British love behind it. So I feel like this is a very safe spot. Like we made the case for Banshees. It's just a very safe spot for it to win.
On the other hand, BAFTA gave a Best Picture nomination to Shrek.
Fair enough. Long time ago. Puss in Boots is not in that movie, though.
I'm going to stick with Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, but I'm not going to be overly shocked if Puss in Boots wins. That's a lie. I will be shocked. I will scream. But it wouldn't be out of nowhere.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, next category.
Best Documentary Feature, where the nominees, in a baffling order, are Moon Age Daydream, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, Fire of Love, All That Breathes, and Navalny.
I mean, I agree it's baffling. I guess the one case to make for Moon Age Daydream is it's the doc about the British guy, and they shortlisted it for another category where it didn't even get the nomination, so maybe. I'm not going with it. I'm going with what I think is going to win the Oscar, and that's Navalny. But Moon Age Daydream, I guess, has a shot. I mean, I think anyone in this category has a shot. I think this is like what we talked about for picture, where like, oh, all you need is like 21% of the vote. I think whoever wins this is going to have like 25% of the vote.
Here's the argument we keep coming back to for Navalny. It's so political. It's so recent. It's so in the news. This is the way that the Brits can give the middle finger to Putin. That is what a Navalny win means. If they've seen the movie, they know that, and they will vote for it. Like, that's literally my argument for it. And if Navalny doesn't win here, I think it's Fire of Love. I don't see why it would be Moon Age Daydream. I think that the whole argument that it's about a British guy, it feels like a flimsy argument to me that I've heard a lot of people make. But, like, why would it win here?
I'm looking at the list of BAFTA documentary winners, and Moon Age Daydream doesn't match any of them.
I'm sticking with Navalny, and if it's not Navalny, it's Fire of Love.
Navalny is our predicted Oscar winner, for at least us two here.
Yeah, at least for us two. But if Fire of Love wins here, like we keep saying, if Fire of Love wins, it may just continue to win.
Yeah.
So, but I expect Navalny to win here and the PGA and then the Oscar.
I fully agree, but let's move into a category I think is pretty easy and we don't have to talk much about.
Yeah, we don't have to talk much at all about Best International Feature, where the nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Decision to Leave, Argentina 1985, The Quiet Girl, and Corsage. And the question here is, which film is nominated for Best Picture? That's your winner.
Director.
And director. And what film is the most nominated film ever at the BAFTAs?
All Quiet at the Western Front.
There we go. That's our winner. Next category, Best British Film, which has 10 nominees, and the nominees are The Banshees of Inisherin, Living, Aftersun, Good Luck to You, Leo Grand, Empire of Light, Roald Dahl's Matilda the Musical, The Wonder, The Swimmers, See How They Run, and Brian and Charles. People here might go, oh, it might be Living, oh, it might be Aftersun, because they're already going to award Banshees other places. That's not how it works. It's not how it works.
You want to hear the list?
Yeah, give me the list. Give me that list.
Belfast, Promising Young Woman, 1917, The Favorite, 3 Billboards. That was your last 5 winners, and guess what they all have in common? A Best Picture nomination.
Yep,
it doesn't matter.
Multiple of those won Best Picture as well in their year. Right? 1917 took it. 3 Billboards took it. So that is a pattern that's like, if Banshees takes it, it's going to get both.
Easily.
They give it to what they like most. Banshees of Inisherin wins this. And finally, last and probably least, the Rising Star Award,
it doesn't make
where
any sense to
we
me.
don't understand the criteria.
There is
What's
no
the
criteria.
criteria here?
Fans vote on this. This award solely matters of who has the most social media
Oh.
following. You know who has the most followers among all the people here? Amy Lou Wood. She's
Huh.
winning.
Huh. I didn't know that. Because, okay, here are the nominees. Daryl McCormick, Naomi Ackie, Amy Lou Wood, Emma Mackey, and Sheila Atim. I like that rhymed. We had Ackie and Mackey. See, I was going with Daryl McCormick because good luck to you, Leo Grand. He's nominated in Best Actor. But if this is voted on by fans and Amy Lou Wood has more fans, then sure.
Here, last year, Cody Smith McPhee nominated, Ariana DeBose nominated, they both lost. Lashana Lynch took this award. Year before, Kingsley Ben-Adir nominated. You know who won? Bookie Beret. 2019, Mikel Ward won. Sure, I think he was nominated for a TV BAFTA. So that's your last chance of someone who was nominated in a big category and still ended up winning the award.
Well, fuck it. I'm going to still say Daryl McCormick, but you're probably right.
I mean, honestly, McCormick makes sense from what I understand. He's very popular. He's been in stuff before. Good luck to you. So he is a name. I don't know. Naomi Ackie feels like it should have been the winner, but no one cared about that movie. So why would she win now? So to me, a lot of people are also predicting Wood to get in for supporting actress. She was shortlisted as well, so that shows there is some love for that performance specifically from this year. So I don't know. This is a weird category. This is just like, what's another one that we mentioned at the BAFTA? Like casting. That is just weird. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. They just kind of go with stuff because the BAFTAs don't vote on this. It's a public vote. So why? I don't get it.
But we're going to see who the winners are. It comes out on Sunday afternoon in our time because we're Eastern Standard Time and the BAFTAs take place in England 5 hours ahead of us. So we'll know by 4 p.m. on Sunday. So I'm very excited.
Ooh.
I do not know how to watch this. Do you know how to watch this?
Even if I did, I don't think I could watch it. I don't know. The BAFTAs are always the hard thing to watch. I don't think I've ever actually watched a BAFTA award show, which sucks because I'm the weird guy who likes watching award shows, even if they're boring and there's no point. I watched SAG last year on HBO Max. That's how committed to award shows I am.
I think I've watched one BAFTA in the past. I'll watch it again this year. I'll watch it again. I'm down. What else am I doing at 2 p.m. on a Sunday? But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video today. We hope that we've been able to help you out a little bit with your BAFTA predictions, but let us know what you think in the comments. Is there anything that you disagree with? Are you predicting any big spoilers? Let us know your arguments down below in the comment section. But as always, thank you so much for watching. My name is Matt.
And my name is Dyl, and this is Fantasy Filmball.